Hello! We did a big Poison Pathfinder stream over the weekend and people had a ton of questions about the build. We've compiled all the commonly asked questions into a list, and this video is our attempt to answer them all. But first, be sure to like, subscribe, and hype this video if you're on mobile. YouTube keeps adding new stuff, so whatever, just go ahead and do it. It helps more people see our content, which helps us keep doing this, and join our Discord as well. We've got a really awesome community there. Alright, first question, most commonly asked, where is the PoB? So right now we have two written guides. We have one on Mobalytics and one on PoE Vault. The Mobalytics one's a little bit more straight and to the point. The PoE Vault one is a little bit more detailed. Right now, both of these are based on the information we currently have. Once we have updates from GGG to PoB, we will then make updates to both of these guides. They're both in the description as well. Otherwise, you can go ahead and start playing these builds for practice and have a good time in the campaign right now. Is Poison Pathfinder getting buffed in patch 0.4? Absolutely. This was our build of the league for 0.3, and GGG basically wrote us a love letter in the form of the 0.4 patch notes. It is faster, stronger, and cheaper. How long should you use Lightning Arrow and Lightning Rod? At the bare minimum, you should use it through level 14. You unlock Toxic Growth once you get a level 5 skill gem, and you get one of those for killing the Executioner, which should put you roughly around level 14. At that point, you can go ahead and make the swap over to Poison, or you can keep playing Lightning Arrow and Lightning Rod up until Act 2 when you do your first Ascendancy. Either is fine. We kind of prefer switching to Poison sooner rather than later, just because it's more thematically consistent. How good is the build? Is it good in the campaign? Is it good in in-game? The answer to all of these is yes. It performs really well in the campaign, and it is even stronger in end-game. This build is absolutely obliterating Uber bosses, it is obliterating high-level juice content in patch 0.3, and it is going to be stronger in patch 0.4. How does the build scale damage? This is one of the most fun ones to answer because it is just a big old long list. High physical damage on your bow is the most important thing during the campaign. Getting damage with bow skills on your quiver is good, getting added physical damage to attacks out of quiver, rings, and gloves is good, skill gem levels from just leveling up the skill gems or from your amulet, bow, and quiver is also important. Then there are tons and tons of other ways to scale damage. Getting more poison stacks, getting more poison magnitude, ailment magnitude, and damaging ailment magnitude, all three of which are somehow different stats that all stack. Crit chance and crit damage bonus also work with poison. This is something that's different from PoE 1. Your poisons in PoE 2 count as though they hit, which means they can crit. Poison duration scales your damage. Poison dealing damage faster is a pretty rare stat, but it scales your damage. Shock. Shocking an enemy makes them take more damage, which makes them take more damage from poison. Added chaos damage to attacks is a very rare stat, but it also adds to your poison damage. Increased attack damage, increased physical damage, and increased projectile damage all also increase your poison damage. What do you do about mana in this build? So there are three ways to deal with mana. One is your mana flask. That's the worst and most boring way, but it works for the campaign. There's also the modifier that gives you 2% of mana on kill from a sapphire. This is only available through sapphires, but it's very, very good. And then the third option is physical damage leached as mana. This is available on bows, which is the worst place to get it. Gloves and rings, any of those spots will work. The combination of mana leech and 2% of mana on kill from a sapphire is enough to keep your mana completely trivialized in endgame. How expensive is this build? It's as expensive as you want it to be, dog. You can do it as a league starter, you could do it as an SSF build, you could do it as a multiple mirror build. The choice is up to you. Are there any useful uniques? Yes. For leveling, Corpse Wade is just a pair of boots that gives you some poison damage spreading whenever you kill enemies. Plague Finger allows you to use elemental damage to contribute to poison magnitude, which is very, very strong early on in acts. And Sliver Tongue is a bow that you're able to start using around the end of Act 3 or early Act 4, which will give you a bunch of crit chance and a lot of useful stats. Life Leech, Mana Leech, Arrow's Fork, and Arrow's Pierce after forking. Essentially, you get 2 extra supports on your main damage skill. Now, unfortunately, Sliver Tongue doesn't do a lot of damage on its own, but you're able to fix that by getting a lot of flat added damage on your quiver, rings, and gloves. You can use Sliver Tongue all the way up through tier 15 maps, it works really well. Snakebite is a pair of unique gloves that you can use as well. They give you +1 poison stack, that's pretty good. And Voltaxic Rift is an option at high level. It is being buffed massively in the coming league. It's effectively having its damage like doubled, maybe a little bit more. And it allows you to convert all of your lightning damage into chaos damage, which means it will work for poisoning enemies, and then that also means that any added flat lightning damage that you get on rings or gloves is now just straight up working for your poison. Full Toxic Rift may not be the best in slot weapon available, but it's going to be a lot cheaper option than a super high-end crafted rare bow, and it'll definitely keep you going as you're pushing into high-end maps. Does the loss of Pathfinder's poison proliferation hurt the build? Absolutely not. You're able to just run Herald of Plague as your second aura, which you picked up in Act 3, and then nothing changes. Herald of Plague actually has a little bit longer range than Contagious Contamination, so this is basically just a net positive. Now you don't have to waste 2 Ascendancy points going through something that you could place with 30 Spirit. When does the build get bleed pops? So you're able to get Herald of Plague and Herald of Blood to work together and cause enemies to explode when they die, causing that explosion to make things be poisoned, which then causes them to spread bleeds, and it chains back and forth very nicely. You really only want to start doing that once you get into the end game though. Like once you're in early maps, that's a good time to start bringing that online. It's really not very useful in the campaign. Are the new passive bonuses good? Absolutely. There are several new passive bonuses that have been adding. One is just simply that running Assault now also grants cannot be heavy stunned while sprinting, which is incredible. It means you're going to be able to sprint through everything all the time, and Pathfinder is going to be the #1 choice for any sort of speed-oriented farming strategies. Pathseeker is one of the new bonuses for Pathfinder. It gives you 4 passive skill points and allows you to allocate passive skills as though you're starting from the warrior class starting point down here on the bottom left, or the sorceress on the top of the tree. Will this be useful? Very likely. It will be easy to, once you're near the end of the build, allocate from the sorceress starting point and come take bonuses like pure energy to just give yourself a massive energy shield bonus. Maybe there's some other stuff around here as well. We'll kind of have to see once the tree is updated, once PoB is updated, and that's still several days away at least. Should you league start this build into a Sorc or warrior setup? Absolutely. This build really wrecks the campaign. It's about as strong as you can be on a Pathfinder to start out the league, and that's a pretty great setup for making that transition into a radically different build at endgame. There is a lot of real high budget potential for hybridizing this character into half sorceress, half ranger setups. What about the Rhoa? Do you still need to use it if you're using running Assault? Probably not. Rhoa is still going to be an option for high-budget versions of the character once you're really blasting in-game maps, but you definitely don't need to use it. You can absolutely get away with not using it ever, and that's going to be really good for keeping the cost down on playing this build. What's that green effect around your character? It's Plague Bearer. It is an aura that we take as our first aura in Act 1, and we use for the entirety of the campaign, but then ultimately we phase it out as we get into maps, and we're able to just clear with Poison Burst Arrow. We really don't need Plague Bearer, but at least you kind of look cool and green and swirly during the campaign. How does this build feel to play? It's incredibly smooth. During the campaign, you use Poison Burst Arrow and Plague Bearer to kill packs of enemies, but once you get into maps, you don't even need Plague Bearer anymore. You're just running around right-clicking, and everything dies. For bossing, you use a combination of Gas Arrow and Toxic Growth. You shoot a Gas Arrow cloud down, then you shoot Toxic Growth pods into it, and that's pretty much it. Toxic Growth only fires 4 pustules at a time in the coming league. Is this a nerf? Not at all. Toxic Growth previously had a limit of 8 pustules and also shot 8 pustules at a time, which meant sometimes if you fired too quickly, you could actually shoot out nothing and just do no damage while spending a bunch of mana and wasting a bunch of time. This isn't going to happen ever again, and also because it's a poison build and you're stacking 8 poisons either way, you're just simply not hard capped on damage. So this is actually just a straight quality of life improvement, and maybe even a damage buff in some situations if you had the wrong attack speed before. That's just never going to be an issue now. Is this build tanky? It's as tanky as your gear lets it be. The version of it that we made in patch 0.3 is literally the tankiest character we've made in all of PoE 2, but, you know, it's gonna be up to you to actually get good gear and make yourself tanky, right? Okay, question time. What is your favorite food reality TV show? Mine is Guy's Grocery Games, and Sunset's fave is Cutthroat Kitchen. Let us know what yours is in the comments. Alright, that's it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and join the Skipping Sleep Studio Discord and become part of our community. And finally, thank you to all of our channel members. If you want to support us and help us make more PoE content, consider becoming a channel member. Thanks for watching. Bye.